Okay, dear students, a very good evening to all of you. Welcome back to Sri Ramanuja Vidya Mandir. So this is the 18th session on the topic of light. So dear students, I hope you understood the last two sessions which I sent you as a video, that is 16th and 17th session. Particularly in those two sessions we have started refraction of light at plane surface. I hope all of you have watched that video, because that is very important to understand today's topic. Okay students, because this today's topic is a continuation of the two videos. Okay students, so now, so in those two sessions, in the last two sessions, we have discussed mainly what is refraction, why refraction happens, and what is Snell's law, and what is refractive index, which is of two types. Number one, absolute refractive index. Number two, relative refractive index. Okay students, so I hope you have learned that one. Those definitions and formulas are very easy. Okay, and yesterday or day before yesterday you must have got work session also. So please solve those work session based on those videos. So this week test will be based on that only. So now we are going to continue further in our topic, that is called as refraction at plane surface. Okay students, so today we are going to discuss about what is meant by real depth and what is meant by apparent depth. Okay students, so this is also what you call basically refraction at plane surface only. Okay students, so now students, let us see here on the screen. You can see if the object and observer are situated in different medium, then due to refraction the object appears to be displaced from its real position. Okay, so when the object is in one medium and the observer is in another medium, okay, so because these two are in different media, the object seems to be either too nearer or too far. So now we are going to see in which case it is nearer and in which case it is far. Okay students, so before that there are many practical examples or live examples where in your life you can see, suppose let us say in a water tank, if some object fall into water tank, and if you are swimming pool, let us say, and if you observe from top, you will see that object nearer to you, as if it is very close to you. Correct or not students? On the other hand, suppose you are in water, okay students, and some object is there in air. Suppose let's say you fell into swimming pool and you are watching the outside world. Okay, an object which is there in air medium, you are in water medium. Now if you look at the object, you will see that it is looking very far, but actually it is not. Why it is happening? So that is what we are going to discuss today. Okay students, so there are two cases. Case number one, when the object is in denser medium and the observer is in rarer medium. Next, afterwards we are going to see case number two, when the object is in rarer medium and observer is in denser medium. So let us see how to understand these. Okay, let us see. So now let us go into today's topic, that is when the object is in denser medium and when the observer is in rarer medium. Okay, so what is the best example for this students? What is the best example for this? The best example for this is, suppose you are standing and then you are looking an object which is there inside some water, inside some swimming pool like that. Now when you look at the object from outside the swimming pool, you will see that object very nearer, although it is not that much nearer. Okay students, so there comes the terms called as real depth and apparent depth. Real depth means that is which is actually depth. Okay, that means actually its depth is that much. But apparent depth means, apparent means it appears to be. Apparent means, always remember students, it appears to be apparent. That's why its name is called as apparent. Apparent means appear to be, appear to be. It is not actually, appear to be, appear to be. Okay students, it is not actually. Real depth means really the object is at that depth. Okay students, So here, okay students, so suppose let us say I am drawing again here students, suppose let us say this is some water tank. This is some water tank. Okay students, and there is an object which is here. There is an object which is here. Okay students, okay. So now you are outside. Okay students, there is an object here which is called as O. Okay students. So now as I told you in the beginning, incident rays will always start from the object. Incident rays will always start from the object. So let us draw some incident rays. Let us draw some incident rays. One incident ray like this. Now this is one incident ray. Correct or not students? Let us take one more incident ray at some angle like this. Okay students, these are the two incident rays. Okay students. Now as I told you in the last sessions, in the refraction of light topic, whenever a light ray is traveling from one medium to another medium, the light ray would bend. Depending upon which medium it is traveling from and to which medium it is going to, the ray will bend either towards normal or away from the normal. Okay students. So now let us see here. Here suppose let us say you draw a normal. Okay students. Suppose let us say we draw a normal here. Let us say this is the normal. Okay students. And now this is the incident ray. This is the normal. Okay students. So now here the ray is traveling from what you call this is called as water. Water is denser, correct or not students? Because mu of water is how much students? 4/3. Whereas this is air. Air means mu is equal to 1. So therefore this is called as denser medium. This is called as rarer medium because mu is less. Okay, this is mu is 1.33. Okay students. So whenever a ray is going from denser medium to rarer medium, the ray will bend away from the normal. The ray will bend away from the normal. So therefore the ray would bend away from the normal like this. The ray would bend away from the normal like this. Okay students. So therefore this angle is called as angle of incidence. This angle is called as angle of refraction. Okay students. Now what about this ray students, which is incident normally to the surface? Which is incident normally to the surface? This ray won't bend. This ray would go straight. Because here angle I is 0 no students. Okay, because we know Snell's law. We have studied Snell's law. We have studied Snell's law. What is Snell's law students? What is Snell's law? Sin I by sin R is equal to some constant called as mu. Sin I by sin R is equal to mu. Now here in this case for this ray, for this is called second ray, this is called as first ray. For the second ray there is some angle of incidence, so therefore there will be some angle of refraction. But here for the first ray, what is the angle of incidence students? Angle of incidence is always the angle between the incident ray and the normal. Correct or not students? It is always the angle between the incident ray and the normal. It is always the angle between the incident ray and the normal. Okay students. So here angle I is 0. Angle I is 0. So when angle I is 0, angle R is also 0. If I is 0, R is also 0. So therefore the ray would go straight. The ray would go straight students. The ray would go straight. That means the ray will go straight like this only. So this is called as refracted ray. Okay students. These two are called as refracted rays. These two are called as refracted rays. These two are called, this is called as refracted ray. This is also called as refracted ray. And now when you extend them back, okay students, when you extend them back like this, okay students, this ray as well as this ray. So these two rays will meet here, and therefore this point of intersection of these two is called as the image of this object. Okay students, this is called as the image of this object. Okay, so that means that means a person who is there this side, the person who is there in the air medium will see. Now air is, suppose let us say I'll remove all this. Okay students, I'll remove all this. Now a person who is there here, okay students, a person who is watching, to this eye, that means to that person's eye, these two rays are coming, these two rays will reach the eye, okay students, and he will see the object which is actually at a depth of, this depth is the original depth, okay students, this depth is the original depth, okay. How much depth? Let us say h. How much depth? h. But actually this eye will see the intersection of these two refracted rays, which are dotted rays. Here you can see inside water, these are dotted rays, okay students. So if you see carefully that these rays are meeting at this depth only, correct or not students? Okay. So this depth is less than that depth, this depth is less than that. So this is the depth, okay students. So that is called as h dash, this is called as h dash, okay students. So actual depth is h, but the apparent depth, this h is called as real depth, that means the object is actually at this much of depth, okay students. But actually when you see from here, when you see like this, you will see the object as here, which is at what depth students? At what depth? H dash, where h dash is called as apparent depth, okay students. So this is the meaning of real depth and apparent depth, okay. Real depth means where actually the object is located, at what depth it is actually located, okay. Apparent depth means for us it appears that much depth, it is not actually there, it appears. Just like I told you in the light in the beginning, if you take a mirror and you see your face in the mirror, you will see your face, you will see the image of your face, correct or not students? And we know from the properties of the image formed by a plane mirror, whatever is the object distance in front of mirror, the image distance also will be the same. So if your face is 5 centimeters from mirror, your image is also 5 centimeters from mirror backside. So now if you go backside of the mirror 5 centimeters and put your hand, will you get the image? No. It's a virtual image. It appears like that. This world is a virtual world. It appears like that. It is not real. Are you understanding students? So same way here also it appears like that. It is not real. The object is not there at the image point. It is actually at the, suppose you will drop a coin, it is there at the bottom of the tank. Correct or not students? But you will see it here, h dash. Okay students? So now the relation between these two, is given by students, the apparent depth. The apparent depth is always given by real depth by the apparent depth is equal to real depth divided by mu. What is mu? Refractive index. Okay students, I hope you understood this one. This is called as refractive index. Okay students, mu is called as the refractive index. Okay students, okay. So this is the formula for this one. Apparent depth is equal to real depth by mu, or other words we can also write down as h dash is equal to h by mu. H dash is equal to h by mu, where h dash is called as apparent depth and h is called as real depth and mu is called as the refractive index of the water, of the material in which the object is there. For example, let us say students, for example, let us say, okay, mu is equal to 4 by 3 and h is equal to some 10. So that means the water depth, that means suppose let's say tank depth, or the object is at a depth of 10 meters. Now when you see from air, at what depth you will see h dash is equal to h by mu, that is equal to 10 divided by 4 by 3, that means 30 by 4. So 30 by 4, 4 sevens are 28, 7.5 meters. So that means you will not see at 10 meters, you will see at 7.5 meters students. Very interesting thing. Okay, if you want you can also observe what you call practically also you can see. Okay, you go to some water tank and then place, or you take some what you call water bottle or like that and drop a coin, and then if you see from top, you will see it nearer. You will see that the object appears to be nearer to you. Okay, that's called as apparent depth. I hope students you understood. So what is the relation between apparent depth and real depth? Apparent depth is always equal to real depth by mu. It is always less. Okay, students. Now let us move. So apparent depth, real depth is always greater than the apparent depth. Okay, students. Second point, next point. So what is the shift of the object, students? Originally the object is here, correct or not, students? Okay. But now the object is here. Correct or not, students? Object means image, in the form of image. Okay. So now this is called as shift. This is called as shift, students. That means the object got shifted to that side, that much. So what is the formula for shift, students? Total h minus of h dash is equal to shift. Okay. So therefore the shift formula is equal to shift is equal to h minus h dash, where h minus, what is h dash, students? Formula h by mu. So therefore h by mu. So that is equal to, if you take common h, 1 minus 1 by mu. This is called as shift. This is called as shift. I hope students you understood this one. This is called as shift. This is called as shift. This is the formula for the shift. Okay. So here also you can see. Okay. So now let us, so suppose let us say, example, suppose let's say some glass is there of mu 3 by 2. Okay. Just now I gave you the example of water also. When the object is in water and the depth of the object in the water is 10 meters, at what height you will see from the surface? H dash equal to 7.5 meters. Okay, students, I hope you understood this one. Okay. Next one. Suppose if there are many liquid, students, not just one liquid, many liquids are there. Okay. So if a beaker contains various immiscible liquids, immiscible means which cannot be mixed. Suppose if you place oil on water, will they mix, students? No. Suppose if you put milk in water, it will get mixed. Those are called as those liquids which cannot be mixed are called as immiscible liquids. Okay, students. So immiscible liquids means which cannot be mixed, which cannot be mixed, which cannot be mixed, which cannot be mixed are called as immiscible liquids. So now when you place a number of liquids like this, okay, students, suppose let us say here in the diagram you can see, students, one liquid is there here of how much depth? D1. Next another liquid is there of how much depth? This is how much depth? Liquid of D2. Now another liquid is there of how much depth, students? This is D3. Okay. If you have only, suppose let us say only one liquid of depth D, and if an object is here, at what height you will see, students? This is the depth. This is called real depth. At what height you will see, students? You will see at here. Correct or not, students? How much is this? This is called D dash. What is the relation? D dash is equal to D by mu. Okay. So if this is entire thing is only one liquid of how much, students? Mu. Okay. But now here there are three liquids of each one. This refractive index is mu1, this refractive index is mu2, this refractive index is mu3, and this depth is d1, this depth is d2, this depth is d3. Then if you join all these, if you combine all these liquids which are immiscible, then what? And if you place an object here, if you place an object exactly at the bottom, and if you are seeing from here, from the top, how much, what is the apparent depth? What is the apparent depth? Okay, students. So apparent depth formula is here, students, very easy. If you have only one liquid, this is the formula for the apparent depth. If you have many liquids, then D net apparent depth, net apparent depth is equal to the sum of apparent depths due to individual liquids. The sum of apparent depths due to individual liquids. First, let us see first liquid. What is the apparent depth formula? D by mu. First liquid depth is D1. Refractive index is mu1. Similarly, D2 by mu2. Similarly, D3 by mu3. Okay, students. So this is how, when number of liquids are where when number of liquids of different depths are given with different refractive index, and if you are asked to find out apparent net apparent depth, then you just have to add the apparent depths due to each individual liquid. That's all, students. Okay, so this is one important point from competitive point of view. Okay, so until now we have studied when the object is in denser medium and you are in rarer medium. Now opposite students, you are in denser medium and the object is in rarer medium. For example, you are inside water and you are seeing outside some bird. Will it appear nearer to you or will it appear far from you? That is what our next case. So object is in rarer medium and observer is in denser medium. Okay, so here it is opposite, students. Opposite means there it is, in the previous case the object appears nearer to you. So in this case the object appears far from you, and the formula is also same thing. So formula is also opposite of the previous formula. Okay, students. So let us see here, students. For example, let us say this is some water. You are inside water like this. Okay, students, and you are seeing an object here. An object is here actually. What is the apparent what is the real height of this object, students? Let us say the real height is h. So when you see from here like this is the eye. So when you see from here, this object will appear somewhere around here. This object will appear somewhere around here like this. This is called O dash or I. Okay, students, it will not appear here. So that means its apparent depth. Its apparent depth, students. Its apparent depth is given by this one. That is called as h dash. Okay, students. So the relation between these two, I hope, students, you understood what is meant by h dash. It is called as apparent height. Sorry, I told depth, I think. It is called as apparent height. Apparent means it appears to be. It is not actually there. The bird is not there. It appears. Similarly, h is called as real height. And what is the relation between these two? H dash is equal to, in the previous case it is h by mu, but it is now mu times of h. And how this formula is obtained? It's a derivation right now, not required. Just by heart this formula, students. That apparent depth is equal to, apparent height is equal to mu times of real height. And this is called as shift, students. This is called as shift. The object got shifted by this much, na? So this is called as shift. So what is the formula for shift? Shift is equal to h dash minus h. What is h dash? Mu h is equal to this one. So if you take h common, mu minus 1. So this is called as shift. Okay, students. So this much the object will get shifted. Okay, students. So always remember, when the object is in denser medium and the observer is in rarer medium. Example, swimming pool. Coin is inside water and you are outside. Example, always remember this example. Then object will appear nearer to you. How much nearer? H dash equal to h by mu. Because it is less, na? Less means h by mu. Because whenever you divide something with something, you will get less. Okay. And when you are in when the object is in rarer medium and when you are in denser medium, suppose you are inside swimming pool and you are observing a bird. Remember this example. Then you will see the bird far away from you. Okay. So then in that case, what is the apparent height formula, students? Mu times of h. Okay. So please remember, and the object will appear far from you. Okay, students. So this is about real depth and apparent depth. So this is real depth will always be less than apparent depth. Okay, students, because here real depth is less than apparent depth. Na? See here h dash. Example, if you want to take example as, suppose let us say h is equal to 10 meters and 10 meters, and let us say mu of water is 4 by 3. So now what is the apparent height, students? Apparent height is equal to mu times of h. What is mu? 4 by 3 into 10. That means 40 by 3. So that is equal to, correct or not, students? 3 ones, 3 threes. Correct or not, students? So that means 13.33. That means actually the object is at 10 meters only, but you are seeing at 13.3 meters. So this is called, that means real depth is less than apparent depth. And what is the shift formula, students? Mu minus h. I already told you. Mu minus 1 times of h. Okay, so this is called as the apparent depth and real depth. Let us see some problems, students. A rectangular tank of depth 8 meters is full of water. The bottom is seen at the depth of, very simple problem. Suppose let us say this is a water tank of depth how much, students? 8 meters. That means this is real depth, that is represented by h. Correct or not, students? H. So h is given as 8 meters. Okay, students, this is all water. Okay. What is the bottom is seen at a depth. Bottom is this point. Let us say one point P. Now at what depth you will see from here? What is the apparent depth? H dash. H dash is how much they are asking. Okay. You will see this bottom point at somewhere around here. Correct or not, students? So what is that point? What is that point? So how to calculate? We know what is the formula, students. H dash is equal to h by mu. So that is equal to 8 by what is mu? 4 by 3. So that is equal to 2 into 3, that is equal to 6 meters. So that means answer is first option. Next one. A vessel of depth 2d centimeters is half filled with a liquid of refractive index. Okay, students. So there is a vessel of half filled with a vessel of depth. Total depth is how much, students? 2d centimeters is half filled with a refractive index. That means let us say this depth is d. It is filled with some refractive index of how much, students? Mu1. And the upper half with a liquid of refractive index mu2. Okay, upper half is given. So let us say we take this upper half as, let us say we call it as upper half as mu2, lower half as mu1, and this is also d. Half filled, na? So total is 2d. So therefore half filled means d mu1, d mu2. What is the apparent depth of the scene? What is the apparent depth of the vessel seen perpendicularly? It's very simple, straightforward, simple question which I already told you. So what is the apparent depth formula, students? So apparent depth is equal to, whenever two liquids are when apparent depth is equal to, whenever two liquids are mixed together, what is the apparent depth formula, students? The sum of apparent depths due to individual liquids. If only one liquid is there, mu1 and d, then what is the formula, students? D by mu1. If only mu2 and d are there, d by mu2. So therefore this is the apparent depth formula. So if you take out common d, 1 by mu1 plus 1 by mu2. So that is equal to option B, students. I hope, students, you got this apparent depth and real depth. This is very important. A mark at the bottom of a liquid appears to rise by 0.1 meters. Okay, students. Next problem, that is, suppose let us say this is a tank. Okay, students. The depth of the liquid is 1 meter. The original depth is given as 1 meter. Okay, students, the real depth. Now there is a mark here P. Now will this P, when you see from here, this is the I. When you see from here, will it appear here only, students? Will it appear at the real depth? No. It will appear at somewhere around here P dash, and this is called as this distance. This distance is called as H dash. This is called as H. This is called as H. Okay, student. Now they are asking that a mark at the bottom of the liquid appears to rise by 0.1 meters. Rise by means what, students? This one. This is 0.1 meter. That means basically they gave the formula for the shift as 0.1 meter. Okay, students.